Greetings from the Lone Star State. Thank you for taking time to investigate. I hope it'll be rewarding. My name is Steve Allen. Please forgive me, I'm not a public speaker, so I'll do the best I can. In fact, I'm just an old country boy, so bear with me. I live near Stephenville, Texas. I'm the owner of a transportation company. I'm a private pilot of an aircraft, been flying most of my life. I'm a witness to what I feel and others have said could very well be the most significant sighting in history. Why, you ask? Several reasons. Multiple witnesses, including business owners, former FAA air traffic controllers, ranch, and law enforcement. There have been multiple witnesses of events in the past, but this time, well, many may not remember all details, distort the facts, and even lie to you. But this time there is a very comprehensive radar report compiled from several government radars. The radars have no hidden agenda and no emotion. It simply reports what it sees. Here's my story. On the evening of January the 8th, 2008, at 6:15 p.m. in Selden, Texas, just outside of Stephenville, at my friend's home, Mike Odom, I witnessed a set of 4 very bright, high-intensity lights flying extremely fast in a very low altitude. What seemed to be coming directly at us, flying from east to west. I knew immediately this is nothing I had ever seen. I paid very close attention to all details. I had a feeling this would be a historic event. The object appeared to be very large, about a half a mile wide and close to a mile long. The lights came past us at approximately 3,000 feet AGL. That's above ground level. It was up close and personal. This was not something way out in the heavens, but it was right there before our eyes. It was totally silent, made no wind noise, no engine noise, nothing. As the aircraft traveled past us, I had a strange feeling they were aware we were watching them, and they were aware of us as well. Never had had that feeling before. Also, as the object passed by us, you could see 7 extremely bright lights in the rear of the craft, all in a horizontal fashion, blinking in no particular order. The object came to a complete stop over Stephenville, Texas, about 3 to 4 miles away. The 7 lights reconfigured into an arch shape, like the top of a football, then to a vertical shape. Then in a split second, they duplicated with 2 sets of 7 lights. Then another brief moment, they burst into light-colored flames, almost white in color, which looked to be contained in a large box or a rectangle shape. Then about 3 or 4 seconds later, they simply disappeared. Did not streak off in the distance, but simply disappeared. I was amazed. One of the members of our party, a rural mail carrier named Lance Jones, abruptly left the scene after the event. All to our disbelief, we ran into my friend's home, Mike Odom, which had witnessed the event as well, and told his wife, Claudette. She doubted us and wanted to call Lance Jones, the mail carrier, to verify our story. We invited her to do so. Claudette telephoned Mr. Jones, and he instructed us to run back outside, and it was coming back. We bolted out the door. Sure enough, this time the object was traveling from west to east at a very high rate of speed. But I could hear the roar of jets in the immediate distance. Then a moment later, sure enough, the object had 2 F-16s in hot pursuit, full afterburner. The flames were protruding from after the aircrafts. They were down on the deck and very close to us. They shook the ground and rattled the windows. The object was much closer than first sighted moments before. We stood there silently in amazement and watched the object with the jets chasing speed off over the distance into the horizon. The next morning, I reported the event to my local airport where I hangar my aircraft. After they made several calls, they were unable to find out anything. Then I contacted the local newspaper, like opening a Pandora's box. That's when the world found out about the event. I made the dire mistake of putting my telephone number in the article. I received many phone calls daily, with no less than 60 calls per day from actual witnesses. All of the people that had witnessed the event, some were willing to come forward with their story and some would not. In the next few days, we were all on the local news channels, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. But then 4 days after the event, Larry King Show. And several days after that, O'Reilly Factor, Good Morning America, Primetime, Peter Jennings, just to name a few. National Geographic, History Channel, Discovery Channel, just to name a few more, made productions centered around the event. In the early stages, Angela Joyner from the local newspaper, Empire Tribune, or ET for short, how ironic, contacted Major Carl Lewis at the Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base in Fort Worth. He consistently denied any of the aircraft in the area and attempted to explain it away. He offered several possible scenarios, but none were plausible. 10 days later, lo and behold, a press release stating they did in fact have 10 F-16s in the area. Then came Robert Powell and Glenn Schultz. They filed several Freedom of Information Act documents. They compiled the radar data hits in the millions in the Schultz-Powell report. Sure enough, a very detailed, comprehensive report emerged. There it was, an unidentified aircraft with no transponder traveling from east to west at 1,900 to 2,100 miles an hour. Then in less than 10 seconds, slowing to a speed of less than 50 miles an hour over Stephenville, Texas. What could do this? Then the object reversed course and traveling from east to west with the 2 F-16s in pursuit. What else did the radar report show? Well, 8 additional F-16s, 4 F-16s on either side of the aircraft attempting to flank the object. Also an AWACS, Airborne Weather Command Center. That's the aircraft with the giant Frisbee-like radar on its rear at 41,000 foot, circling the area for over 4 hours. Powell and Schultz also received copies of the F-16 logbooks. Many had been redacted to cover up what? The craft ended up 10 miles from the former President Bush's Western White House in Crawford, Texas. Then we had no more radar info. We do not know. All I do know is what I observed this event, well, did not need to be a trained observer, a pilot, or anything else to describe it. A first grader could have reported this. To me, all this is very concerning. It has forever been etched into my brain, has affected my life in many ways, mostly for the good, more questions than answers. What could have outperformed our best aircraft? Why were they chasing it with vengeance? It is a danger to myself or others while flying. Do they mean us harm? I think we all have more questions than answers. Myself and the public respectfully demands answers. Hopefully you will be able to help us.
Okay.